Around 7 to 8 years ago, I got a project from my client called Mohammed Riaz. He wanted me to do a sustainable building in a place near Ernakulam. So at that time, 7 to 8 years ago, I was just 5 years into doing this kind of architecture, making mud brick walls, ramp and construction, and all those things. So what happened is, I saw that this site had only one jackfruit tree, and it was at the corner of the site. And the site's orientation was something which I was very much adamant about. And being a Muslim family, Riaz and family, I grew up in a Muslim country, so I knew how Muslim setup is and how many a time that they have a closed gatherings. But being in tropical Kerala, closed gatherings definitely means semi-open areas. So I thought around the jackfruit tree we need a beautiful garden. But somehow jackfruit tree appeared to be in the very corner of the compound. It is very exposed to public. So I thought maybe it is better if the compound wall just curves up into the building. So it's a simple idea that I thought that would serve the purpose. The straight walls we designed were rammed walls, and the curved walls I was very much into compressed stabilized air bricks. So basically, we procured soil from a 5 mile radius, which is a Gandhian philosophy about procuring materials within a 5 mile radius and making sure that you build with it. This was something which I learned from Lori Baker, and Lori Baker in turn learned from Gandhi, the father of our nation, who told that whenever we build something within a 5 mile radius, that is the most sustainable way of building. This is something which I felt is very true even to this day. So nowadays, the one thing which we find a lot in our 5 mile radius is scrap. So I definitely wanted to make sure that I use a lot of scrap in this project too. But one of the things that astounded me while I was doing this work was that I found that my material palette, which was rendered and CSB, suffered a lot of working stress, and they didn't come up to the finish that I really liked. Somehow, financially and a few other things, the project got delayed. And it took almost 4 or 5 years for us to reach to a completion stage. But my journey took me to a place where philosophically I found out that that perfect superficial finish is not exactly what defines architecture or what defines a space or what defines a mud block. I found that whatever my masons have done, even the errors are something to be celebrated. I thought that if we can remember that, if we can remember, okay, my mason Babu did this mistake, I felt those are memories that we should cherish rather than say these are errors that I should punish. So definitely during the last stage of project, I thought that some of the areas where the blocks are chipped or where the 100th finish is not that great, I started liking it even more. I thought those were the things that really defined this people. Today, we are on a path where we see that every material has a life, as a birth, it has a life, and it has a degradation also. And that is something which I cherish a lot. We try to create a different building. So when you go for something which is very innovative, very different, you find that a lot of things which you plan for don't happen exactly the same way. You find that sometimes, like the staircase. So the staircase was a very tricky one. So when we did the staircase, we found out that, whatever we planned in 3D, yeah, whatever we did in Rhino, didn't exactly turn out to be the physical reality. We had to fight a lot, and we had to think on our feet. Now, thinking on your feet is something which is very not appreciated in architecture. It is frowned upon to not have a concrete idea of how to do things and come to a site. It is thought as a waste of labor, waste of this thing. But when you're going for something very innovative and new, you have to think on your feet. You have to be ready for errors at site. And how do you proceed? You can't just say something like, okay, that error happened, okay, we will again go back to our drawing sheets and start again fresh. No, you have to think on your feet then and there. So when we were doing the staircase, we thought, okay, we made a mess of the staircase. The threads are not equally aligned. The riser is not exactly what we wanted. But as I said, we grew to doing this project. And at this point of time, when looking at it, the chaos in what we ordered is simply making it more beautiful. That every thread has a uniqueness on its own, in its own sense, is something which I think should be celebrated.